100 Mile House. Again, had no idea. My contact event here is very brief, but the amount of stuff that goes on here is huge. Had no idea 100 Mile House. There's actually a famous, I think it was on History Channel, was someone's contact event, and it involved humanoids, and they were from 100 Mile House. I thought that was really interesting. I don't have any research on that, but I did remember seeing that somewhere. So that's just, yeah, a lot of stuff happens in 100 Mile House. And so this is missing time between 100 Mile House and Clinton. And it does look like someone actually had an abduction. And so she missed 40 minutes. She saw a blue light. She saw blue lights shaped in a V pattern hovering off to the side of the highway. And then she drove by the lights, baffled by what they could be. The next thing she remembered was pulling into her small community where she resides. When she thought about her experience, she realized she'd missed 40 minutes. She couldn't account for the missing time. She went looking for people who saw the lights. Not everyone did, but then it ended up being in the paper. So other people saw the lights, and that was really interesting. But otherwise, there wasn't too much else. But there was a lot of sightings, but not too much that was interesting. Massive black object, right? Bunch of stuff there. Cortes Island. That's my 21st contact event. Right from 1947, people have been reporting UFOs over Cortes Island, but largely they're seen from Campbell River and Cortes. Quadra, I mean. This fascinating video. So, I don't know. You can make what you think of it. But I actually thought the video was filmed on Quadra Island, so right by Cortes Island. And it's really weird when you see the other stationary lights there and you can see the person's filming it. It's obvious that this is a weird structure. Not a structure, I think. It's several independent lights all moving at the exact same speed. The consistency of how they maintain their formation clearly shows that this is something abnormal then. And so I just thought it was really weird. And of course, it's just blur lights for people, right? You can't really tell. But the way it moves is so interesting to me. And yeah. Anyway, that was done.
No, you're right. They maintain the same distance between themselves, don't they?
Yeah, and it's a strange formation, and it just maintains itself. Yeah. So and the same with mine. They're actually orb. So when you zoom into them, you don't see any other type of helicopter pattern, helicopter lights, or anything like that. That was filmed in 2019 over Campbell River, from Campbell River over Quadra Island. That's the actual detail there, and I just thought that was really interesting. And that was actually, so let me just show you where that was. That's where my contact event was. And that was filmed right here. So pretty close, all in the same area. Otherwise, again, light though, compared to other locations. This is the last contact event. This is fascinating. This is my contact event in Squamish. This was the end of the majority of traveling for me and of my entire trip out in the world. And it turned out when I didn't know I was having contact events with aliens. And this one happened in Squamish, and this is the giant granite rock that I talk about. So Squamish. Okay, so what's really fascinating about the contact event here is some things have happened out on the islands out here that I thought were really interesting. 14 kids and 2 camp guides witnessed a colored round-shaped object hovering about 80 feet above them on Gambier Island. This is Gambier Island over here. So they were camping on Gambier Island. I just thought that was really interesting. Really close up the Howe Sound. Fury Creek, a couple got out of their car and observed an oval cylinder float in the sky. So that's over Fury Creek is right there. Gambier Island, a man recalls sighting with 15 to 10 camp kids around a fire. A UFO approached overhead, then left. But check this out. For some reason, without having full recollection, everyone ran to their cabins, crying out of fear, and they never talked about it ever again. So for me, I think that's probably a landing, and then it was wiped from their minds, and there's something, it was terrifying to them, and they were like, oh my God, something's coming out of the craft, and then the entire thing is erased from their minds, right? It's such a strange...
That's it, a mass abduction event where typically
maybe
no
abduction,
one talks about it.
Yeah, maybe abduction. You know, there's a sighting, there's a one in Russia, and it lands, and then it does weird things. It's like I think instantaneously an alien appears. They don't see it walking out, an alien appears, and the quick behaviors freak everybody out. and then people get terrified, and then the aliens freeze. But these are not gray aliens or anything. These are kind of weird looking creatures, and they're in a spherical dome that happens in Russia in the 60s. Anyway, I just thought the whole thing was weird, but it's, you know, you can have an event like that and it can terrify everybody. It doesn't have to be an abduction. When the quick movements occur or weird behaviors, it can freak people out. And I can attest to even something like that gets really, you get terrified. You're dealing with something very intelligent. And so, yeah, very weird nonetheless, though. Yeah. Don't have any recollection. They're all running to their cabins, crying out of fear, and they never talk about it ever again. That was on Gambier Island right here. So very strange. Okay, so a large UFO was caught on video in Squamish, and it was caught right at the exact spot on my contact event. This is a green orb. So CTV actually had a sorry, because it's stalling because it's.
The late great astrophysicist Stephen Hawking believed, as CTV's Janet Dirks reports, some things just can't be explained.
I got it.
Oh my God.
That's.
Oh.
What the hell?
That strange light in the sky is one of 1,100 UFOs.
That is happening right over top of my contact event. So they filmed it. Yeah, they filmed it, and it was over top, and that's what that green light is. It's going over top of the Squamish chief. So that's right over top of my contact event. Pretty weird stuff. Okay, so other than that, the contact events the sightings were light. Okay, but Ian, check this one out. Okay, so someone sees a weird beluga type creature in Deep Cove, over again where I actually had a contact event. This I was mentioning is kind of a paranormal hotspot, if you will. We talked about Deep Cove earlier, guys, for those who maybe not remember. Up the by Bunsen Lake, up Indian Arm, there's Deep Cove by Mount Seymour. So for those who remember, someone is boating in between Deep Cove and my own contact event, and they witness a weird creature. Boat crossing from Deep Cove to North Van to Bedwell Bay, which would be the other side where my contact event was at. Located on the other side of Indian Arm. About mid-channel, I happened to look down into the water, and there, approximately 10 feet below my boat, was a large white animal swimming along. It appeared to be about the same width as my boat, but about twice the length. The only thing I could think of is that it might have been a beluga whale, but there's no supposed to be any in our area. I never did see it again, and it was not a killer whale. This was 1971. I, with my wife, together. Okay, beluga whales are not in the area, and there's just no explanation for a beluga whale. Like they don't exist in the area, they're not seen, and they do get monitored. And so when they're in the area, they breach and people see them. Well, I came back in 2003 from Toronto. We were with my wife and a friend, me and my wife all hiked up the Squamish Chief. I'm back at the same location as my contact event. We're up top and down below. I'm on the spot where I had a contact event, and down below, right in here, we see a huge white animal. It's not a whale even, because it doesn't have the flipper tail. Wow. It's underneath the water. It's sitting still. It's moving like it's doing something under the water. It's up close to the land. I can't even and it's not breaching. It never breaches. And I'm like, and I sit up top and I'm like, hey, what the hell is that thing? And I'm up top here. I'm staring down at it. I'm like, what is that? And everyone's looking at it and we're like, oh, wow, it's so fascinating. I'm the one staring at it. My friends leave saying, yeah, it's kind of weird. And I'm like, but it doesn't make any sense. What the hell could that be? We don't get, and it was too large to be a beluga. It was huge. The thing was goddamn massive. It never breached. It didn't have the flipper tail like a whale. And I always remembered it. I brought it up with my wife after reading this report, because I thought this guy who left the report was an experiencer. He's an experiencer. That's why they put the report on the ufobc database. And I thought that was really weird. And when I read it, I went, what the hell? I witnessed something like this too. And I thought that was really strange. And mine's in the location of a contact event. He witnesses this in the other area close to my contact event. All of that is just a bunch of weirdness to me. And yet there's no explanation for it, because it wasn't a beluga. Mine never breached. It didn't do any type of beluga whale. It was too big to be a beluga whale. Never mind that they're not in the area. So, I mean, maybe it's an abnormal beluga whale, but just even the synchronicity of that being associated with another person witnessing it who's an experiencer. I don't know. Strange stuff, man.
I would say it's all part of the associated phenomena. It's probably all sorts of cryptids involved, including sea creatures such as a lake monster. Let me just say as well, this area where it happened, We were talking about this the other night with the area of the Hudson River. Now, Alan Steinfeld, who I work with as well sometimes, says that part of the northern New Jersey area has long been a hub of UFO sightings. J. Allen Hynek wrote the book about night siege in the area or contributed to the book. Some people claim it is because of the Hudson River itself being an estuary, a river with tides that mixes fresh water with salt water and creates a special energy. This could be the case as well with where you are in Vancouver.
Interesting.
Now, the Native Americans, the indigenous people of the area, have a long tradition of strange things happening along the river. So it may be interesting as well to check with indigenous populations around estuaries where the salt water mixes with the fresh water.
Interesting, man. Yeah, it's something electromagnetic. Again, paranormal ecosystems. So you got some kind of electromagnetic field effect that goes on. That consciousness creatures, different types, can interact or gravitate towards it. I'm not really clear. Okay.